is presented by Sky Vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Michael about Tony. Kim Kardashian posed for a photo wearing nothing but glitter.
Tony Kornheiser, me too. Me too. Check it out. Wait. Really, I didn't have enough glitter on?
Who put that glitter on you? Well, you didn't get that done makeup. Don't tell me you did.
No, I had to actually put the glitter on myself. Do you know, and I've said this before on the show, I have never watched 1 second of the Kardashian show, but hundreds of millions.
But if you go to enough NBA games, you're going to see them.
Are they there?
Constantly.
They're there all the time?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
They've made a lot of money. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Tennessee has a new target. Sean McVay does everything but play, and Tiger Woods gives an encouraging press conference.
Again.
But we begin today with the news that Eli Manning, who has started 210 consecutive games for the New York Football Giants, will not start number 211. He will be benched in favor of Geno Smith, who we didn't know was still in the league, let alone on the Giants.
Are you sure?
Giants GM Jerry Reese said, quote, "This is not a statement about anything other than we are 2-9, unquote. Eli Manning said he was given the option to keep starting while also letting the other quarterbacks play. And he said, quote, "My feeling is that if you're going to play the other guys, play them. Starting just to keep the streak going is pointless to me, and it tarnishes the streak," unquote. Wilbon, what do you make of this?
You know what? He's fine. Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl rings.
How many Geno Smith have at the moment?
Geno Smith, does he have 2 wins?
I don't know.
I mean, he has 2 Super Bowl rings. His career is essentially done because he's not, I mean, if not for the money, and your money's never guaranteed in the NFL unless your last name is Brady. So he's not going to, there's no more money coming from the NFL. So just go and hang out with his brother and then just do commercials with Lionel Richie.
I disagree completely.
Why should he bother?
Well,
he's not going to play anymore.
You know, and I disagree with that.
Where?
Because I'm going to look at the genetics of this.
He can't play anymore.
I don't agree with you.
Look at him on
Look
Sunday.
at the genetics of this and look at Peyton Manning, who was about, Eli's what, 35 or 36?
Yeah.
Peyton Manning at that age had the terrible neck problems, left Indianapolis, went to Denver, where he went to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
He's never been as physically imposing as Peyton. Tony, it's okay.
I think
it's more about the Giants. The Giants are lost.
They're done.
They're like an astronaut that has become untethered, and they're 180 million light years from Earth, and they're just out there for the rest of their lives. They have nothing, the Giants. Eli took the high road, by the way.
Very much
Eli
so.
said, you know what, don't just start these guys and keep me going in a ceremonial way. Play them.
I think he'll end up at a new place next year, and I think he'll be fine. I think Alex Smith is going to end up in a new place next year. For all I know, Drew Brees will end up in a new place next year. This is a bombshell. He's had this job since 2004. And what you say about the Giants, that coach is gone.
Yeah.
That GM is gone, too.
They're all gone. They all deserve to be gone.
They're going down the hole, and then they'll come back up in a few years.
But you know, listen, pro football, when you play 13, 14, when you have 210 consecutive starts, Eli Manning became Cal Ripken and didn't even get the credit for it. Eli Manning's out there every week in an impossible market.
That's right.
Where the demands are impossible, the people are impossible.
And I think he's got something left. I think he's got something left. I think Phillip Rivers has a year or two.
No, you know what, Tony? You know what? Those guys have been around a long time.
Yes.
They'll get Hall of Fame consideration even if they don't make it in. And they earned it.
Yes.
But you know what? They're done. They're done.
We'll see. We'll see next year at this time.
We move now to the adjudication of that wild fight between Michael Crabtree of the Raiders and Aqib Talib of the Broncos Sunday. The NFL will suspend each player for 2 games. League spokesman Joe Lockhart said, quote, "I think a 2-game suspension is designed to both discipline player appropriately, but also get their attention. And I expect this has gotten their attention," close quote. Tony, let's play Goldilocks for a second. These suspensions, too many, too few, or just right?
So yesterday I sat here and I said they had to be suspended.
You did.
And 1 game would be okay, but I would prefer 2. I thought about this more last night, and I thought about this more this morning, and I think at least 3. And I'll tell you why. This is an unbelievable callous disregard for your teammates. This is terrible. Michael Crabtree, he didn't want to play that game. This is premeditated on his part. He even taped down his new chain, which Aqib Talib got anyway.
Yeah.
And they rolled around in a slop out there, and they put a lot of people in jeopardy, like we're holding cameras and stuff
They
like
didn't put anybody
this.
in jeopardy.
Okay, this is really bad. It's really bad. They didn't come to play.
You know
They came to fight each other.
You know what? So what? It's football. That's what they do. And you know what, Tony? I can't get worked up. Not everything's important. We now on television, on shows like ours, we have to act like everything is important so you have important talking points. It's not important.
I thought it was lawlessness.
It's not important.
I thought it was bad
Guys
for the
are in
league.
jeopardy on the sideline every time somebody makes a tackle.
But I thought this was really bad for the league.
The optics weren't good. But let me just mention something that Jack Del Rio said, referring back to a fight between two other guys recently. Hard to understand, this is on Twitter, the reasoning for this judgment based on most recent ruling with altercation C, wide receivers Cincinnati and DB Jacksonville, equaling 0 games suspended. And Jack Del Rio's right. So they fought. So what you're doing is you're saying these two have had such public beef. We're tired of it. And we're going to make an example.
Exactly.
You know what?
And
if they want to,
go further.
If they didn't,
I'm going to go further because I'll tell you what it reminds me of.
What?
It reminds me of a baseball pitcher who waits 2 months. And he takes out his revenge by throwing at a guy's head, a guy who beat him the last time out. And I would say he's got to go for a month or even 2 months because this is not sports. This is personal vendetta, and it's terrible.
How much of football, particularly that involving the Raiders and the Broncos, is not personal?
You'll notice that both coaches came out and did not blame the other guy's player, and they both said this is bad.
There shouldn't be a suspension. There's precedent for no suspension.
I would have gone 3.
I kind of like what Del Rio did there. Interesting story from the Washington Post, Tony, which details how far NFL head coaches will go to control every second of a football game. A close study of an NFL film segment shows the Rams coach Sean McVay, who's become your boy, has mastered the coach-to-quarterback communication to the point that he, not the player, can call the pre-snap audible and do so easily before the microphone is shut off 15 seconds before the snap. Tony, does this somehow diminish Jared Goff in your eyes since Goff has so little responsibility before said snap of the ball?
I think it diminishes him a little. I will say in his defense that any young quarterback, this is his first year of starting full-time in the league. It takes a long time to learn defenses. Not everybody is Peyton Manning at 30 years old when they walk into the league, but it raises, in my eyes, my estimation of Sean McVay, who at 31 appears to be brilliant. He appears to be brilliant. If he can pull this off within the rules all the time, it's great. It's great.
He'll be brilliant if he gets as far as Bill Walsh. You're not brilliant because you're 8-3. That doesn't make you brilliant.
31.
Doesn't make you brilliant. I don't care if you're 9. 8-3 doesn't get you much. Because you know what 8-3 will get you if you're not careful? 8-8. And we've seen guys go out the next year. So Sean McVay, here's what we know so far. I don't know. Here's what we know so far. He's a controlling dude.
That's right.
And that's what NFL coaches all want to major in. That's how the word distractions came into the culture as it has.
But he's helping.
So
this is coaching. He's coaching a kid up because this kid isn't capable of looking at the landscape quite like this.
How do we know he's not capable? Sean McVay is presumed through practice and meetings and all those
Why
other
are you knocking Sean McVay?
I'm not knocking him. I'm saying you're slurping him, and we don't know yet.
I am.
He's 8-3. Let's not make him Bill Walsh yet.
How's John Fox doing this year? Is he 8-3?
You know what John Fox has
How's
done?
Mitch Trubisky
He's gone
doing
to Super
this
Bowls.
year?
I'm glad you asked me that.
How's he doing?
Because I'd be calling his plays if I had to run on the field.
Exactly
with
right.
one of those big boards. I'd run on the field.
Right, with a picture of a duck.
Yeah.
You know what? You know how you beat this?
Yeah.
You know what you do?
What do you do?
You're on the defense. You're the defensive coordinator. You look at the clock. When it gets to 15, you switch your defense around. You play cat and mouse with the offense.
They'll try to get him under 15
Let's see
when
what
the mic
happens.
is shut off.
I think this guy's playing with, you know who he reminds me of? Dean Smith. You walk right up to the line and you sit there.
You know, in Northwestern, they had the big cars. You know whose face on the big card when they call the play?
Yours.
Rachel's. Me like that. Rachel. Yeah.
I'll let that go. The latest target for the Tennessee job is Mike Gundy of Oklahoma State, who's a man. He's over 40. This comes in the wake of Duke coach David Cutcliffe, once the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, declining interest in the job. Gundy met with Tennessee officials today. Wilbon, if you were Mike Gundy, would you take this job?
Hell no. I wouldn't want the job. Man, Mike Gundy's got as good a chance as winning as getting to the Final Four at Oklahoma State as he does at Tennessee. They ain't been near that. They've been ranked in the top 10 maybe once since Peyton Manning left, twice max. So T. Martin, I think, is the guy who won the national championship for them.
Yeah.
That's been 20 years ago. No. Just because a team is located in the SEC doesn't mean you need to take their job. He's got a good job. He can get anybody in the school. He can recruit anybody. He's in a fertile recruiting ground. He's in a big conference, and they play in a championship game.
And I think Boone Pickens is behind them financially.
A richer guy than Tennessee's got.
No, I understand that. I mean, I asked myself, is this an upgrade? Is it an upgrade?
No,
and I said, well, it may be a marginal upgrade because Oklahoma State is sort of second fiddle behind Oklahoma It's not Oklahoma.
Well, Tennessee's second fiddle behind 8 other SEC schools.
Tennessee in-state is the big fish.
What?
It's
What
the
does
big
that
fish, and
mean?
they have more recently won a national championship than Oklahoma State. So all things being equal, and going to the SEC might be better than the Big 12. But it's such a hot mess in Tennessee right now. A mob mentality. The guys running the football program aren't the guys hired to run the football program. I would never go to work for this AD because I expect this AD to be fired. I would never go to work for this chancellor because I would expect this chancellor not to have a job, so I wouldn't take it.
Where do you have an easier time, and I know it's tough in any of the Big 5 conferences, winning and getting into a great bowl game in the Big 12 or the SEC? How many bodies do you have to climb in each?
Oh, it's easier to do it in the Big 12.
Of course it is. So why go to the SEC?
Because it's easy. Because if you do great in the SEC, you're there for the championship. Did the Big 12 get 2 teams into the playoffs yet? Because I think the SEC may have.
I don't
think
anybody's gotten 2 in yet.
Somebody get in my ear on that.
Anybody's gotten 2 in yet.
Tiger Woods will play an official PGA Tour round on Thursday in his own invitational tournament in the Bahamas. Today, Tiger spoke optimistically, saying, quote, "I feel fantastic. I didn't realize how bad my back was. Now that I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, it's hard to imagine I was living the way I was living. With my foot not working, my leg not working, not sleeping because of the pain. I'm loving life now," unquote. Will Bond, what do you learn from this?
I didn't learn anything, but I watched it. I watched every word. I turned it on, and as soon as they went to that press conference, I was going to turn it off because you were in my head then. You being absurdly joyous over this.
Yes.
I want him to be Tiger Woods again.
Long.
We both wanted
to pass DJ.
See,
he's missed a long ball.
I had not consumed any of the Kool-Aid until I heard this.
Until this.
And when I heard him, it sounded so completely sincere and reasonable, and he seemed in such relief that he's living a life without pain. I don't know if any of it's true, but it sounded so good. I can't wait till Thursday when he tees it up.
So we've covered sports for a lot of years, and I would say that between us, we've heard this sort of variation a million times. It goes like this. Remember last year when I told you I was good? I wasn't really good last year, but I'm good now.
You're good now.
I'm good now. So you hope that's true, but you don't know. Do I think he's going to win a bunch of majors? No. Would it be great if he contended? It would be great because golf misses him, and golf is so much better with him. But you know what?
He's the greatest theater we've had since Jordan retired. Look, there's only 2 guys out there, this famous, this powerful, this great. LeBron James and Tiger Woods. Not Durant, with all due respect, not Curry, with all due respect.
No,
just
Tiger.
2 guys.
Tiger.
LeBron and Tiger.
But here's what I don't want to see.
What? You don't want to see this. Ooh.
No, and I don't want to see getting out of your car in the middle of the night, disoriented and saying, I think I'm in California when I'm really in Florida.
About that.
So I want him to be able to play. But I've heard him say before, I'm pain free. So that's why I drank the Kool-Aid. I want to believe it.
You didn't just drink the Kool-Aid, you bathed in it. Somebody threw it on you like Bill Parcells.
He's hitting it long. He's hitting it long. He's hitting the irons.
You know what we're doing? There's 2 great comebacks for those of us of a certain age. Ali's from 3.5-year layoff and Michael Jordan's from about a 18-month layoff. And because of that,
they were younger than Tiger Woods.
They were.
They were younger when they came back. More physically set.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Coming up, the Eagles have the best record in the NFL, but are they the best team? I'm going to say no.
And the Cavaliers go for 9.
Welcome back to Pardon the Interruption, presented by Sky Vodka, part of Happy Hour.
It's time for toss-up where 2 men enter, but only one presents a persuasive argument. And you, my friends, you're looking at them. What's first?
Toss-up, better team right now, the Patriots or the Eagles?
Better team right now is the New England Patriots because they've got Bill Belichick and they've got Tom Brady. I know the Eagles are really good, but I'm not going to put Peterson and Wentz in that category yet. And the Patriots have improved themselves dramatically on defense. Mike, in the last 7 games, they've given up no more than 17 points, and they're averaging giving up 13. And again, they've got Belichick and Brady.
Tony, Belichick and Brady are always going to be the answer to who's best when you get in the playoffs or you get in a single game situation where you got to pick one team or another. But right now, first of all, just a month ago, you had such gloom and doom.
I did.
There was a big cloud of rain above your head.
That's not there anymore.
You sat in this set, this set,
bright
and you said the
sunny all the
Patriots
time.
were somehow doomed and done. They couldn't do it.
Not now.
And Brady looked old according to you.
Sunny.
Yeah. So you can listen to him
always
if you
sunny
want
in
to,
Philadelphia,
America.
baby.
The answer is Philadelphia Eagles, where they now have the best pass defense the last 8 games in the league and the best passing offense. You got those two, you're the best.
Next.
Toss-up more likely to make the playoff, Auburn or Alabama?
Auburn. Auburn controls its own destiny.
That's right.
Auburn plays Georgia, albeit in a bad place to play in Atlanta, but they play Georgia, a team
That's
they
a good
beat
place to
by
play.
23 points the
When they
last time they
fill the
played.
stands.
Alabama has to depend on Wisconsin losing and or Oklahoma
That's right.
losing.
That's right. Maybe
And if you
both.
say, oh, it's tough to beat a team twice in a row, if I win by 23 the first time, I think I'm going to win again.
Well, I don't think Auburn is going to beat Georgia again. I don't.
You don't?
I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for Auburn. I'm rooting for the school of Charles Wade Barkley, but I don't think they're going to win. But the answer is still Auburn. Because they have to go out and win a game that they're going to be playing in against a team they have beaten.
Don't need help.
Alabama's got to sit in front of the TV, and this is so great that Nick Saban, who has disdain for everything and everybody, now has to depend on others to get his butt in the playoffs. How appropriate is that?
Next.
Toss-up, where will Jim Harbaugh coach next year?
Whoa.
Michigan or the NFL?
Okay, so there's a
Nelly.
report by Jay Glazer that a lot of NFL teams are trying to lure Harbaugh back into the league, right? Now, to me, I think he's going to stay at Michigan for a variety of
Not
reasons.
staying in Michigan.
You don't think he's staying
No,
in Michigan? I know you'd love to have him in the Bears.
How many months have I been telling you what was going to happen this year?
I think he's going to stay because he's 1-5
He's not
career
staying.
there against Ohio
Then he'll
State
be
and Michigan
1-7
State.
next
And then
year.
it will look like he's tarnished, and I think he wants to beat them. I'm going to say he stays at Michigan.
He's not staying. The question is whether he winds up in Chicago, where he was drafted and played quarterback, Indianapolis, where he played quarterback and got close to something once they lost that game to Pittsburgh, I think. Or another NFL team where they just throw money at him. The Bears and Colts will not throw
He's
that much
making
money.
a lot of money
He's
at
making
Michigan.
like 9, not from Michigan, from sources that combine.
Making money, though.
The point is, Tony, it's NFL time for Jim Harbaugh. What did I tell you?
You think he wants to go coach
whose coach is
Andrew
going
Luck
to be
again?
fired come Christmas time?
Well, about 5 guys.
But
8
specifically,
guys.
where Harbaugh
Bears.
played.
Next.
Thank you.
Last one, toss-up, who is the favorite in the East right now, the Celtics or the Cavaliers?
Well, what does this mean? Does this mean to win the conference before the playoffs or to
Well,
get
you
to
got to
the
win the
finals?
conference before you get to the
Well,
playoffs.
I think Boston will probably win the conference if Boston won last year. Well, let's look at Cleveland recently for a
Right.
second. LeBron now wins the games he chooses to win, and he does it personally. He went to Washington and beat the Wizards personally. He went to Charlotte, and in front of Michael Jordan, he beat Charlotte. He went to the Knicks because he wanted to beat the
Wanted
Knicks
to win the
in
Garden.
the Garden.
Came back.
Right. And then last night, he went to Philadelphia, and he
Enough of
told
this.
Embiid and Simmons,
Sit down.
I'm the sheriff. So shut up, right? So based on that,
Doesn't play Boston, I think, until like January 3rd.
well, I got
That's
LeBron.
a showdown.
Plus, they got Isaiah Thomas down the road.
See, Tony, that's it. The reason you can't say anything definitively yet is you got to see Isaiah Thomas. By the way, Isaiah Thomas on his chest bumps coming off the bench in street clothes looks like Carl Lewis right now. Looks completely
I
fit.
picked Cleveland. Who did you pick in this answer?
I'm picking. I just said I'm cautious. I'm pushing until January.
Yesterday, you sat here and you said there's no push on this show.
Well, you
That's
can't
it.
push. I can push.
Let's take one last break. Still to come.
Coming up later on SportsCenter, we're getting you set for a shake-up atop the college football playoff rankings. Plus, we predict how this weekend's championship games will shape Selection Sunday. We'll see you on the 6th.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Sky Vodka. Make every day. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 33rd birthday, Marc-Andre Fleury. After winning the Stanley Cup with the Penguins in June, Fleury was the top goaltender choice in the NHL expansion draft for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Fleury played in only 4 games before getting hurt. Golden Knights, good with him, good without him. The bunch of cast-offs and retreads are in first place in the Pacific Division.
How do you think that would ultimately play if they represented the West in the Stanley
They'd be
Cup
the greatest
final?
expansion
How
team
about
in any
that?
sport of all time if that happened.
They would be. They got a long way to go.
Happy anniversary, Paxton Lynch. On this day 2 years ago, you tied a D1 record with 7 touchdowns and a half for Memphis. Lynch was then drafted in the first round by the Denver Broncos. He saw his first action this year on Sunday and left in the second half with an ankle injury after completing 9 of 14 passes. Lynch was seen on the bench crying because he waited so long to get in and then got hurt.
You know I root for Trevor Siemian in his competition, but I felt for him, given all he's put into that and to have it go away. Maybe he'll get another shot this year, though. I mean, he didn't break the ankle. Maybe there's still some play left in him.
Happy trails, Tim Floyd, the 63-year-old Floyd, who had coached at the high-level college programs such as Iowa State and USC, had coached the NBA Chicago Bulls and the then New Orleans Hornets, abruptly retired last night. His UTEP team had just been beaten by Lamar, their 5th loss in a row, and Floyd announced he was done effective immediately. Floyd's lifetime college record, 444-282. Wilbon, never a big fan, right?
Well, Tony, not when he was 49 and 190 with the Bulls post-Michael Jordan, but if Jerry Krause just leaves him in college, his whole basketball coaching career will be seen very differently.
One clarification, no conference has ever had 2 teams in the same 4-team playoffs, and we are quick to the big finish.
Let's go.
Blake Griffin, no structural damages left. He could be out 2 months. Your thoughts?
They can't get a break with the Clippers and these injuries with him at the center of it. Ravens beat the Texans. Tom Savage gave a 4-second press conference. You like that?
Loved it. Nobody asked him a question. He left. Sam Darnold of USC says he would not skip the draft to avoid the Browns. Good call.
I hope he doesn't skip another year at USC and stays there. Carlos Beltran will interview to become the Yankees manager. What's taking them so long?
I don't know. Aaron Boone was in there. Now Beltran. Maybe they'll pick a player. Last one, Darren McFadden retired from the NFL. How will you remember his career?
When his best time at Arkansas, he was a hell of a